Hey everybody, welcome to another adventure. We're going on a multi-state one today.
Well, we're starting off in the closest town to Massachusetts in New Hampshire. We're in Nashua. We're going to go all the way down to Ayer and then back.
I was going for a clickbait, thumb here. Multi-state e-bike ride.
No, this one's a really nice route. We've done this one before, but we didn't film it, so we definitely wanted to show you guys.
And we started in Ayer instead of Nashua. The reason we're starting here is there's really good parking to start.
Yes, which is just a wonderful aspect of this trail.
Also, if you're seeing right now on the drone footage, over to our right here is a beautiful little pond that you can walk around when you either start here or reach your destination here.
Yeah, so it could be a good spot for a picnic if you're starting from Ayer, or if you're starting from here, maybe it's your ending picnic or whatever. But yeah, we're going to stop a couple times along the way and just show you the lay of the land.
All right, let's get going.
All right.
So the Nashua River Rail Trail, which we're going to be on today, is all asphalt, and it's approximately 12.4 miles long. It goes from Nashua, New Hampshire, to downtown Ayer, Massachusetts, and we spell that A-Y-E-R.
And it goes through Dunstable, Pepperell, and Groton on its way, basically following the Nashua River. That's why it's called the Nashua River Rail Trail.
And this trail follows the former Hollis branch of the Boston and Maine Railroad, which was originally part of the Worcester and Nashua Railroad, opened in 1848. Passenger service stopped in 1934, and the last freight train ran until 1982. And then the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Management bought the abandoned track in 1987. The local communities helped to plan and design the rail trail from 1996 to 1997. And then the Massachusetts portion of this rail trail was constructed in 2001 and 2 and is now managed by Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation, now is running it. And in 2005, the trail was extended into New Hampshire.
Not very far into New Hampshire, but
very far.
It does go into New Hampshire technically, and it makes it technically to Nashua, although Nashua is a very big town.
Now, as Jesse mentioned at the beginning, we started in Nashua, and in an upcoming episode this season, we'll be traveling to downtown Nashua, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for that.
Yeah, we found a route from the end of this rail trail all the way into Nashua proper, so we're starting to be able to connect the world in the ways of e-bikes.
So yeah, immediately upon leaving Nashua, we get into Dunstable, and then we're going to get into Pepperell. And both of these are really typical New England feels to them, as you can see, really full of trees. Almost, if you're an outsider from New England, it might even feel like you're riding through a forest. But what's really nice about this rail trail in particular is that all 12 miles of it you're not going to find any like gravel spots or anything like that. It's really going to be easy if you're with a stroller or if you just want to do light walking. So that's the feel for this rail trail today. And as you see today, we're on our fat tire e-bikes. You do not need a fat tire e-bike for this trail. This would take any kind of road bike, which would be great. You could also scooter on this one. And I think dog walking would also be a really fun one. I also think the length of this trip, because it's 12.5 miles, is kind of perfect for us, because that means when you double it, it's 25 miles. And, for a regular bike, that's probably a long trip. But this is really flat, and on an e-bike, this feels really doable, I think, for a lot of age ranges. So this might be a nice starting trip for you, especially since there are a lot of starting and stopping points along the route, as you're going to see. You don't have to start in Nashua. You can start in Pepperell or Groton. There's a lot of NIMBYism that went on when they were building this rail trail, not in my backyard, and that's what took so long. Was people got used to having this dead rail trail behind them, this dead railroad, which they kind of thought was their backyard now. And so when, meetings started happening about making this into a rail trail, there's a lot of pushback by certain people who didn't want their backyard to now have people in it. That's sadly what usually takes the longest when building these trails. So you'll notice that every now and then we go through what looks like farmland, and then every now and then there's a backyard and you see someone's house.
All right, so we've made it to Pepperell.
Yeah, about 15 or 20 minutes down the trail.
Yep.
Cute little town center. I love that right here you can see menus to the different restaurants and cafes.
Yeah, what do they got? They have a barber shop, a nail place,
There's
martial arts, the Dam Grill, and there's a diner.
Yeah, I
and
think
a
the
fly
diner-
shop.
Yeah, I think the diner would be fun to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Diners are always fun.
There's a good spot behind you guys where you can park your bike and lock it up.
Yep. Didn't I see on another trip that they had a repair? Oh yeah, there's a repair thing right there for your
Yep.
bike. So really nice for that, for the amenities. And this would be a nice stopping spot to get a drink or have lunch.
Yep.
We're right off 113. And so far just a lovely, lovely path.
Yeah.
It's about 10-year-old asphalt, so expect some bumps from roots and stuff of trees, but other than that, it's really smooth.
Yep. 7-Eleven and a Walgreens over there. So you definitely have all your needs covered. If there was something that you forgot, I think you're probably going to be all set.
Exactly. And officially this is called the Nashua River Rail Trail.
Yeah. All right, keep going.
Keep going.
This season we started doing a different speed.
Yeah, so the time-lapse interval is a little bit slower. It's 5 times as fast as what we were actually traveling, as opposed to 10 times, which we had done in Season 1. This means that you get twice as long to see all the fun stuff that's happening around. I feel like it lets you see some of the detail a little bit better. And
It's more watchable for sure.
yeah.
And so we normally travel around 13 or 14 miles an hour. That seems to be our kind of comfortable speed. And so it'd be 5 times that. So that'd be what, 70 miles an hour?
Yeah, which you shouldn't be traveling on this e-bike trail, but when you speed it up, it looks pretty nice.
So we're now going through Groton, Massachusetts, and this might be a nice place to start your adventure or stop it because there is a parking lot here. And also, if you want to, you could get off of the trail and go into downtown Groton. And so what you're seeing here is something we discovered, which is the Groton Hill Music Center. It used to be located in a completely different town, but it just moved here a few years ago. And if you go to their website, we'll put a link down below in the description. If you are in the area, there's lots of cool concerts being held here, and the ticket prices aren't outrageous, but what's really attractive about this place for me is that it seats 1,000, and the inside, we're seeing pictures here now, is just gorgeous. So it might be fun. On Sundays, a lot of times I saw they were having afternoon concerts. So you could bring the family, maybe go for an e-bike ride and either end with a concert and then maybe dinner in Groton, and maybe use that parking lot as your starting and stopping spot. That might be kind of cool. In Groton, there's lots of little fun restaurants. And so that could be kind of a fun adventure in itself. You know, some other fun stuff in Groton. There's 2 schools in Groton that you may never have heard of, but they're kind of famous. They're boarding schools. One is called the Groton School, and one is called Lawrence Academy. And a lot of rich, famous people have gone to these 2 schools. At Lawrence Academy, Tim Armstrong, former CEO of AOL, and Peter Farley. You know who that is, right?
He co-wrote and co-directed Dumb and Dumber. And there's something about Mary. Interesting.
And then at the Groton School, which is even more formidable, you've got Franklin D. Roosevelt went there.
The president?
The president, 32nd president of the United States. You got Sam Waterston, remember from Law and Order? Dun, dun, dun.
That's not the
Isn't that the... What's the Law and Order thing?
Dun dun.
Oh, dun dun. And then George Herbert Walker III.
Who is he?
The former ambassador to Hungary.
Oh.
And board member of the New York Stock Exchange.
Not quite as good as Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
No, FDR stands out. Yeah, definitely. Oh, did you know that Groton played a crucial role in the American Revolution? Several residents of Groton, including William Prescott, was the commander at the Battle of Bunker Hill. There's a famous inn in Groton called the Old Groton Inn. It was first opened in 1781, and it's been restored. So I think you can even stay there.
That's fun.
So that could be a fun place to go. And there's a lot of really cool restaurants like Forge and Vine. That's really good. Or what's the other one I'm thinking of that overlooks the hill?
Gibbet Hill?
Gibbet Hill. Those are 2 great restaurants. You have to make reservations usually well in advance, but those could be another really fun places to go. Definitely try and get a seat with a view if you go to Gibbet Hill. The Nashua River, which we've been following for a lot of the trip, used to be one of the top 10 most polluted rivers in the United States.
Why?
Well, there's a lot of mills and stuff along there that polluted it, and then a lot of people tried to work to clean it up, and now it's way, way cleaner. In fact, I think it's one of the cleanest rivers. And now we're entering Ayer, Massachusetts, the last stop on this trip. And this has a strong military history. So there used to be, while I was a kid, Fort Devens, which was a fort that was started in 1917. It was a World War I fort. And then it closed down until in the 90s. Even though we still kind of refer to the Fort Devens area, it's basically a commercial area now. But before that, before 1917, there was actually another military base there. Where was it? Ayer's history goes back to 1667 when the first mill used to grind corn in the agricultural community was built. It was originally part of Groton, and then Ayer was incorporated as its own town in 1871 and named after Dr. James Cook Ayer, who was a prominent Lowell resident who funded the construction of Town Hall. And Ayer today has a really nice little downtown, so it's a great place to maybe stop and get yourself lunch or dinner before heading back, if that's the way you're doing your trip, or start in Ayer, because there's also a commuter rail stop in Ayer, just about a block from where we stopped. So this could also be a great way to come in from, let's say, the city of Boston and start your trip and then return.
Unfortunately, this is the end of the line.
Yeah.
You're seeing a shot right now of the bike route end sign, and it's kind of depressing because it's like it feels like it should just keep going, but we're in Ayer.
Yep.
Ayer.
And it's kind of nice, brings you right to the center.
There's also a commuter rail here, so you can get into Boston.
That's pretty neat,
Yeah.
I would say. So I guess you can get from Boston to the outskirts of Nashua. Yeah, I mean, the only problem is the other end of this line where we started isn't like anywhere but a parking lot.
I feel like in the future we should start there and investigate if we can go into any fun spots north.
Yeah, because we did see some, I wouldn't say bike trails, but I would say like
There's probably some suburban
meandering
roads.
Yeah, I feel like there'd be a way to get there. And then I think from Nashua we might be able to get someplace. But either way, if you do come to Ayer, there is a parking lot which is right on the bike trail. It has EV charging. It's a $4 a day rate.
That's not bad.
And there's plenty of space available. There's a roof, so you're definitely going to find a spot. Unless there's some massive event that Ayer puts on that I've never heard of before.
This is like one of the straightest routes we've been on, is this rail trail.
Yeah.
Like it's very flat and straight. If you have a bike that's not got suspension, you're great. If you want to just go for a walk for the dog, like that's great too. Mm-hmm. So thank you for joining us on this two-state journey. I know it wasn't that much of a two-state journey, but
You saw about 5 seconds of New Hampshire. I'm not even joking. But yeah, I think it was, it's just such a nice trail. It's really pretty.
I will say, when you get to Groton, which is a cute town also, you're only a couple blocks away from their main village, and so it'd be fun to just ride up the street and check out Main Street, because there's a bunch of like little shops and restaurants.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good spot for.
But down
lunch or dinner.
below, please put, if you know these places, you know of a cool spot to stop, or if you know of another route, like this is the community we want to build here. So give us your tips, give us your questions, and we'll make sure that we keep checking back here for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to see you next week on season 2 of Now We Adventure.